Hello, I'm Dr. B.V. Rao of Usha Clinic and founder of the websites viewmedicaldoubts.blogspot.in and Dr. RagavaMedicalDoubts.in. In these videos, I am providing the basic knowledge about the commonly occurring diseases for the knowledge of the general people and for basic knowledge for medicals. Today, I am going to discuss about the ectopic pregnancy. After conception, at the lateral end of the fallopian tube, the zygote undergo division and differentiation while traveling in the tube and implanted usually in the posterior wall of the uterus. In ectopic pregnancy, the fertilized ovum develops outside the uterus and is named according to the site as ovarian pregnancy, abdominal pregnancy, tubal pregnancy, pregnancy in a rudimentary uterine horn. In the fallopian tube, it may be interstitial, isthmal, ampullary, or infundibular portion. Ovarian pregnancy. It rarely occurs. When occurs, fertilization occurs in the Graafian follicle and fertilized ovum implants itself into the ovarian tissue. Usually, there is no residual reaction in these cases. A rupture may be possible. Greater proportion of cases may reach full term. Occasionally, the ovum may die inside the follicle and form a mole. Speech Albert has laid down 4 conditions to diagnose the ovarian pregnancy. The fallopian tube of the affected site must be intact. The gestational tract must occupy the position of the ovary and displacing it. It must be connected to uterus by ovarian ligament. A histological examination must reveal the presence of ovarian tissue in the wall of the sac. Primary abdominal pregnancy. It is very rare and present in history. There is a doubt whether it is a reality or secondary. Tubal pregnancy. Fertilization usually occurs in the lumen of the fallopian tube. The passage of the fertilized ovum is delayed and obstructed by the developmental, mechanical, or other factors. It may occur in any of the 4 spots like interstitial, isthmal, ampullary, or infundibular parts of the tube. Sometimes the infundibular gestation may become attached to the ovary called tubo-ovarian pregnancy. Mode of implantation. When the ovum is obstructed, burrows into the wall of the tube by eroding and penetrating properties of the chorion epithelium, there is increased congestion and softening of the tissue. The ovum is encapsulated within the muscular tissue of tubal wall. As the ovum grows, the muscular tissue attempts to hypertrophy, but only hyperplasia is resulted, and tube could not accommodate the ovum. The thinning of the tube due to the trophoblastic infiltration, mechanical distension by growth of the ovum results in early rupture of the tube. Changes in the uterus. In majority of cases, uterus enlarges to some extent. There may be residual reaction of endometrium which becomes thick and spongy and similar to that of the uterine pregnancy and generally passed out of uterus when there is a rupture or abortion. Termination of the tubal gestation. It varies with the site of the tubal gestation. Interstitial pregnancy. The possibilities are abortion. Following intratubal rupture, mass extrudes towards the uterine cavity due to the dilatation of the uterine end of the tube. Hemorrhage is checked by contractions of the muscular fibers of the uterus, followed by uterine expulsion. Rupture. By distension of erosion rupture may occur towards the peritoneal cavity. Hemorrhage is severe and the ovum dies in rare cases. Rupture may not involve the placental site. And if amniotic sac is preserved intact, the ovum may continue to grow, resulting in secondary abdominal pregnancy. Tubular pregnancy. In some cases, ovum as it grows partially embeds itself on the uterine wall and its progress may be on the same line as in uterine pregnancy. It is difficult to differentiate from coronal or angular pregnancy. Isthmial pregnancy. The fertilized ovum implants in the narrowest portion of the tube. So rupture is inevitable in early pregnancy. Common modes of termination. Extratubal intraperitoneal rupture. Hemorrhage is extensive and fatal to ovum and mother as well. Rarely may rupture may not involve implantation site and extruded fetus may continue to develop in the peritoneal cavity, giving rise to secondary abdominal pregnancy. The tubal rupture may take place into the layers of the broad ligament and results to a broad ligament hematoma, with or without the death of the fertilized ovum. If the fetus survives, the secondary broad ligament pregnancy results. It may again rupture later to form secondary abdominal pregnancy. Ampullary pregnancy. The ovum is implanted in the outer third of the fallopian tube. As the ovum grows, tube gets distended. Termination may be tubal abortion. Intratubal rupture occurs followed by expulsion of the whole mass through the dilated, fimbriated end, form a pelvic hemosynthesis. If small, it may be absorbed or ovum may be partially expelled, as in incomplete abortion, and blood may continue to leak through ampullary end of the tube. May cause a dull, aching pain, formation of hematocele, which gradually increases in size and rupture into the peritoneal cavity, producing a picture of acute shock. In some cases, the hematocele gets infected and form an abscess. Tubal mole. It results from intratubal rupture. The blood clot surrounding the ovum becomes organized and form a tubal mole. Infundibular pregnancy. Here the ovum develops at the end of the tube, results in tubal abortion or may develop into tubo-abdominal pregnancy and continue till later weeks of pregnancy. Signs and symptoms of tubal pregnancy depends upon the stage of the tubal pregnancy. Before rupture, short period of amenorrhea may be followed by spotting. Dull pain may be there in the lower abdomen. On pelvic examination, uterus felt smaller than the period of amenorrhea. Some softening of the cervix is present. In one of the cornices, there may be pulsatile swelling separate from the uterus may be present. Uterus may be displaced anterior, posterior or lateral direction. In interstitial pregnancy, the swelling may be continuous with uterus, so corner of the uterus is asymmetrical in shape. At the time of rupture, due to pain, the patient may faint. The patient may faint due to the intraperitoneal or subperitoneal hemorrhage. Abdomen is tender, distended, and may complain of fullness of glands. In case of diffuse intraperitoneal hemorrhage, no fullness or resistance felt in the cornices. Soft swelling may be present in one of the cornices before the spot is formed. In broad segment, hematoma vaginal examination reveals uterus displaced to one side and tender swelling in one of the cornicles. It may be palpable for abdomen. Tubal abortion. The pain is not excruciating and intermittent and prolonged. Painting is not so severe. There is little bleeding per vaginal. Microscopic examination does not show chorionic villi. Bimanual examination reveals a tender mass on one side of the uterus. It is pelvic hematocele. Uterus may be pushed to one side or forwards. Subacute or chronic cases. There is short period of amenorrhea, mild colicky pain and spotting may remit with rest. After some time, recur with constant dull pain, frequency, difficulty and urgency in micturition, malaise, vomiting and low fever. Show features with pelvic hematocele. Mass may be palpable per abdomen. Diagnosis. Before rupture, the features of pelvic hematoma are to be seen. At the time of rupture, acute case. Patient is in a state of shock and collapse due to intraperitoneal hemorrhage along with a history of amenorrhea. Subacute or chronic cases. Here the size of the uterus is smaller. Adnexal swellings are present which are extremely tender, boggy, extending from one fornix to the back. Aspiration from posterior fornix or pregnancy test or of health. Treatment. The shock and recovery are to be attended first. Usual treatment is immediate laparotomy and salpingectomy. If blood is not available for transfusion, the blood from the abdomen is used for transfusion. Auto hemotransfusion. Hematosulfings on affected side if present in a child requiring condition, the tube need not be removed. If pelvic abscess is there, drained and treated with antibiotics. Abdominal pregnancy. Primary is very rare except in history. Secondary. May be secondary to rupture of the tubal pregnancy into the peritoneal cavity. Rupture of intraligamentous pregnancy results from silent dehiscence of classical caesarean cause. The trophoblast after rupture maintains a tubal attachment and gradually encroaches the neighboring peritoneum. Rarely, fetus surrounded by amnion continues to grow in peritoneal cavity. The placenta grows in the region of tube and over the posterior aspect of the uterus and broad ligament, but usually ovum dies after expulsion. Signs and symptoms. History of amenorrhea, tubal pregnancy, late in the pregnancy, fetal movements are felt and are painful. If felt, grows to term, spurious labor starts and fetus dies. Lithopodia. Mummification and calcification occurs and carried for years without any symptoms. Diagnosis. History, palpation, loud fetal heart sounds, dextrosalpingogram and oxytocin test confirms the diagnosis. Treatment. Surgery is hazardous due to the hemorrhage from the placenta. So, postponed till the death of the fetus. Then vascularity diminishes, but may be dangerous due to separation of the placenta. So, decision is of the surgeon. If attempted, better to remove the infant, ligate the cord close to the placenta and close the abdomen. It may be resolved or infected, and the pus emits through the incision. If points in cul-de-sac or inguinal region, it is drained. If patient comes with infection, high antibiotics are used. Laparotomy done. If fetal bones come out through the rectum, laparotomy done to remove the remnant bones. Pregnancy in uterine horn. Uterine horn is a malformation of uterus. The product of conception is migrated to the sac and the symptoms are like tubal pregnancy. Pulsations found on the side of the uterus. Treatment. Removing the pregnant horn, conserving the uterus. If not possible, hysterectomy advised. Combined extrauterine and intrauterine pregnancy. These are rare but should be attended with risk. Twins and triples are met with in an extrauterine sac. Repeated extrauterine pregnancies. There are records of such cases having a recurrence, but at other sites. With the availability of ultrasound and MMR, the diagnosis becomes quite easier and time and life saving in such cases. That is all about the ectopic pregnancy. In the next video, we will discuss about some other diseases. Thank you.